Hello, everybody from the Key Leadership Team. I'm Arthi Moore.
Hello, and I'm Jan Roberts.
So we're excited to actually do something absolutely different, and I'm talk to you a little bit about some topics that have been intriguing us and things that's been fascinating us, and some discussions we've been having. We thought we may as well share it with all of you. And the topic that we were talking about last night that was really awesome and different was about self-development. And I was asking Jan a little bit about what he thought self-development was all about, because he's the master of self-development himself. He started when he was 17, and his journey has been incredible and amazing. So, what does self-development mean to you?
Yeah, well, it's actually quite interesting because the reason we started talking about this is about we had an example of somebody who'd done a lot of training and teaching and things like that, and yet she was not developing herself, and that's how the conversation actually started. And that's when I said, yeah, okay, I think it's very important that we all. I mean, self-development is not a one-day thing. I think it's an everyday thing, and we can't stop that. John Maxwell talks about leadership in that form, and I think self-development is the same way. We need to actually keep going, but just reading books doesn't cut it, because if reading a self-development book was enough, then we didn't need any more. We've got plenty on the shelves of the bookshops, and we've probably got plenty on our own very own shelves. And so when we started this discussion, I had a few thoughts about how I started my self-development, and somebody actually gave me a book, and I needed it because after my bullying, I still had a lot of challenges mentally rather than physically after that, because I was this tall at that time. But it was more, I think it went more in the direction of, does self-development actually work? And it says if we are learning, if we are studying every day, how come we are not further than we are? How come we are not at the top of our profession, at the top of our world, if you like? And that was, I think, where we went.
Yeah, I think also there was something we were talking about that didn't quite make sense, and it was there are many people that go to many programs, they go to courses, they learn at the feet of the masters who are specializing in a specific niche that they feel that they wanted to learn from. And one of the things that we were talking about is how come this person had access to so much but they never did anything. And I actually said, I think that, this saying that people always talk about, knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is the key. So I feel that when people say knowledge is power, they're right. But I also feel if we say applied knowledge is powerful, and if we actually change the way we spoke and we change the perspective, it makes a massive difference, because we can read one book and it could intrigue us. And I think that personally the key to applying knowledge and making it powerful is that we implement ideas or something that we come across, or even have a discussion about it. Because when we talk about things that we read or even a TED talk, there's always going to be something small that stood out for us. And if we actually took the time out, even 10 minutes, just to talk to somebody about it, ask, what do you think about it? How do you feel about it? And these are my ideas. It actually triggers off different innovative ways of thinking. It takes you out of the box. And I feel that those discussions are imperative because it stimulates the brain on different levels. And so one of the things I was asking Jan, when it comes to self-development, what are the two areas that people begin their self-development from? And his answer was really intriguing because it made sense to me. And I think it would, if we actually spoke about that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would actually take it even further. That self-development is one thing, but taking action is powerful. But it's not only taking action, and what Archie just talked about, that we start implement it and then take action. And it might be just one thing in a book, one thing we see in a TED talk, or one thing we watch, read, or hear from other people. And we all sit in courses and take all these kind of notes, and we're much more busy normally with shelf development than self-development. And that's when the question came up, why? But I would take that a step further as well, and I said, yes, we need to take action, but becomes even more powerful if we evaluate the action we've taken. So now we sit back at the end of the day and say, what did we actually do today? How intentional were we in in what we read and what we heard and what we saw that we actually implemented, and how did it work for us. So the evaluation makes it even more powerful. So you sit in a quiet place and reflect a little bit on the day, and that is so powerful. But then it actually said, but how come that a lot of people go to courses and events and all kinds of stuff, and yet nothing happens? I said, well, for a lot of people, I suppose it's a great step to go to one of these. You need to go get involved. You need to be in there. But I think what was more important was why are most of these people not evolving any further? And they talk about how nice it was, and if you say, well, what changed for you? And they don't know. I said, well, for me, two things came to mind, and it's the same in sales actually. There's two reasons why people do things. They either move away from pain or they move towards pleasure. So we need to find out really what that why is, and why am I doing this? Am I needing to move away from pain, or am I wanting to move towards pleasure? And I think that's a key as well. We also talked about even reading personal development books, watching TED Talks, watching motivational. I say it's a start, and it is still better than just reading newspapers, watching the news every day. So it is better, but it is just not enough. So therefore, that's where the whole conversation started. But I think the question here is, what are you moving away from, and what are you willing to move towards, to actually make sure that you actually do what you've seen, what you've heard, and so you start implementing exactly the kind of thing you should be implementing to make your life better, or even the life of others.
I think one of the things that stands out is I came off a training program recently, which was an amazing leadership program with thought leaders and very, very relevant, innovative ways of thinking. But the key that I found that really helped me to cement the learnings was to talk to people around me and hear what their input was, to hear what their suggestions were of how to implement it. So what I've also realized in terms of self-development is we don't always have to know the answer. We don't always have to sign up to another course because we didn't quite understand the last one. And I think that we can always fall into a trap of always seeking. And yet if we stopped long enough and thought about it, we've already got the knowledge within us. All we've got to do is look within. So stop seeking on the outside, look within, and you'll find that there are amazing insights that you've got. And once you start talking to people, I think it's a trust thing. It's trusting that you're asking the right questions, and there's no such thing as a wrong question when it comes to self-development. It's asking, what do you think about, how do you feel about it? Okay, these are my insights. And when we start to connect on that level, we're connecting at a deeper emotional level. And I feel that with self-development, change comes from the deep emotional stuff that moves us in a way that is, it's not like a physical thing, and it's not like I think like a superficial thing. So we read a book and now automatically we're supposed to have changed overnight. No, I think that behaviors and habits actually change and impact our lives on a different level when we become emotionally attached or emotionally involved in the thought, the aspect, the idea, or something that challenges us. Because challenging our own belief systems and our limited, our self-beliefs that's limiting us, then we're able to tap into a very different side of where we deserve to be. Because as much as there's self-development all around us, think about it. If a child has to tell you, you're amazing and incredible just as you are, in order to receive that, you have to acknowledge and accept it. And that is a form of self-development, which makes sense. So I feel that in order for us to grow, it is an acceptance. And as Jan said, you got to implement what you have learned. You got to discuss amongst people and then share all of this wisdoms with people so that together we can collaborate, connect, and have amazing conversations like we did. From our side, we want to say thank you for listening to our blurb. We decided to just do this at a baby pool and have all of these gorgeous butterflies flying around us.
There's
and
millions of them.
We just I want to welcome you to our key insights and say thank you for joining us and thank you for listening to us.
Yes, thanks a lot, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon, speaking with you.
Awesome
Develop
stuff.
yourself, and remember, you either move away from something you don't like or you move towards something that you want. make that choices, find out what it is, make those choices, and develop yourself.
Awesome stuff. From our side, take care and have fun. Bye bye.